Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Easy Chat English podcast. I'm Amelia, and today we've got a really exciting topic that's become a big part of all our lives, social media. Joining me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Ethan. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great, thanks. I'm excited about today's episode because, let's face it, social media is everywhere. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, we all use it in one way or another.
That's so true. It's hard to imagine a world without it now. We're going to talk about our personal experiences with social media, how we use it, and maybe share a few tips on how to use it wisely. And of course, we'll introduce some useful vocabulary and expressions along the way. So, let's dive right in. Let's start with our very first experiences with social media. I remember when I signed up for my first social media platform. It was Facebook back in the day. I didn't really know how to use it. I think my first post was something like, "Hello world."
Oh wow, that takes me back. My first was MySpace, if anyone even remembers that. It was all about creating your profile and adding your favorite songs to play when someone visited your page. And don't forget the endless friend requests.
Oh yes, the constant friend requests and trying to make your profile look cool. It was such a different experience from today's social media platforms. Nowadays, it's all about likes, comments, shares, and even DMs, direct messages. Back then, it was simpler, don't you think?
Definitely. I remember the excitement of getting my first like or comment on a post. Now it feels like those things happen all the time, especially with apps like Instagram. But back then, it was a big deal.
Absolutely.
So fast forward to today. Let's talk about which social media platform is your favorite and why. What's yours?
Oh, for me, it's definitely Instagram. I love how visual it is. It's all about pictures and stories. Plus, their algorithm is always showing me things I'm actually interested in. What about you?
I'd have to say TikTok. I never thought I'd like it, but it's so addictive. I love the trending videos, and it's amazing how something can go viral overnight. It's the best place for short, funny content, and there's always something new popping up on my feed.
TikTok is a great example of how social media platforms cater to different tastes. Instagram is more about photos and engagement through likes and comments, while TikTok is all about fast, entertaining videos that anyone can participate in by using a hashtag.
Exactly. And don't forget about influencers. They play a huge role on platforms like these. People with millions of followers can shape trends, products, and even ideas. It's crazy how much influence they have.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about how social media impacts our daily lives. I think we can both agree that it's a big part of how we communicate and stay updated, but it's not all positive, right? For me, social media can be a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's great for keeping in touch, but on the other hand, it's also a big distraction.
Oh, for sure, I can relate. Sometimes I'll open Instagram or TikTok to check one thing, and before I know it, an hour has gone by. It's like I get sucked into this endless scroll of posts and videos. That's the tricky part. Social media can be really distracting when you're trying to focus on something else like work or even just relaxing.
Exactly. And that's something we can all relate to. It's not just about losing time, but also about losing focus. For example, have you ever been in the middle of working on something important? Then your phone buzzes with a notification and suddenly you're on your phone for 15 minutes? That's the kind of distraction we're talking about. It can pull you away from whatever task you're trying to focus on, and before you know it, your productivity is gone for the day.
And it's not just a time waster. It can actually make you feel more stressed. You know that feeling when you're trying to focus, but you keep checking your phone because you don't want to miss out on what's happening online? That leads us to another big issue with social media: FOMO, or fear of missing out.
Yes, I think FOMO is something a lot of people experience. It's this anxiety or stress that you feel when you think others are having fun or doing something exciting without you. You see pictures of your friends hanging out, going to parties, or even just eating at a cool restaurant, and suddenly you feel like you're missing out on life.
Right. And it's so easy to forget that what we see on social media is often just the highlights of someone's life, the good parts. But when you're scrolling through your feed, it can seem like everyone else is living this amazing life, and you're just sitting at home. That's the power of FOMO. It makes you feel like you're not doing enough or that you're left out.
Exactly. It can really mess with your mental health if you're constantly comparing yourself to others. And sometimes that feeling of not being good enough can lead to more serious issues. That brings us to something we have to mention when talking about social media: cyberbullying.
Oh, absolutely. Cyberbullying is a huge problem these days. It's when people use social media or other online platforms to hurt or harass someone else. Unlike traditional bullying, which might happen face-to-face, cyberbullying can happen anonymously. People feel like they can say or do whatever they want because they're behind a screen, and that can make the harassment even worse.
Exactly. And the worst part is, once something is out there on the internet, it's really hard to take it back. A nasty comment or a mean post can spread quickly, and it can really damage someone's self-esteem or even their reputation. For young people especially, cyberbullying can have long-lasting effects. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and in extreme cases, even more serious consequences.
That's so true. And that's why it's so important to be mindful of how we use social media. We should be kind and respectful in our comments and messages, and if we see someone being bullied online, we should speak up or report it.
Definitely. After talking about the negative effects of social media, let's dive into something that's becoming more popular: a social media detox. A detox is when you take a break from social media for a certain period to clear your mind and refocus. Have you ever tried it?
Yes, I have, and it was really eye-opening. At first, it was tough. I'd instinctively reach for my phone to check Instagram or Facebook without even thinking about it. But after the first few days, I felt so much lighter. Mentally, that is. Without constant notifications, I found I had so much more time for things I usually ignore, like reading or spending time with family.
I totally get that. It's amazing how much time we unknowingly spend on social media. A detox helps break that cycle of constantly checking your phone. Plus, it reduces feelings of FOMO and the pressure to keep up with what everyone else is doing. Taking a step back from those perfect pictures or status updates can really help improve your mental health.
Absolutely. It also helps you be more present in the moment. Instead of worrying about getting the perfect shot for your feed, you actually enjoy what's happening around you. And you can start small. Just reduce your screen time by an hour each day, or even try a full weekend without social media.
Exactly. A little detox can go a long way. It's all about finding balance, so you use social media in a way that works for you, not against you. After doing a social media detox, you might realize that while taking a break is important, there are still great things about staying connected online. One of the best things about social media is how it helps us stay connected. I've been able to keep in touch with family and friends all over the world. It's especially helpful for long-distance relationships.
Same here. I have friends who live halfway across the globe, and we talk all the time through WhatsApp or Facebook. It's like they're just a message away. Plus, I've been able to reconnect with old schoolmates I hadn't spoken to in years.
That's awesome. And the great thing is, there are so many online communities where you can meet new people who share your interests. I've joined a few groups for podcast enthusiasts, and it's been really fun to connect with like-minded people.
I've had a similar experience with support groups on Facebook. It's amazing how people can come together to help each other, even if they've never met in person.
That's cool. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. We've covered a lot about social media, from our first experiences to its future impact. Hopefully, we've given you some useful tips and vocabulary along the way.
Absolutely. If there's one takeaway from today, it's that social media is a powerful tool, but it's important to use it mindfully. Don't get too caught up in the numbers. Likes and followers aren't everything.
Great advice. And if you're listening, we'd love to hear your thoughts about how social media has affected your life. Feel free to share your experiences with us.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Easy Chat English podcast. Bye!
Bye!